Hi everybody, we are traveling today to the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City to go and see the Tudor Exhibit. The Tudors were an English dynasty that controlled the Kingdom of England during the 16th century. It includes many famous people like Queen Elizabeth I, Henry VIII, Mary Tudor, and many others. Although it was not a very long-lived dynasty, it was very influential and one that is quite interesting. So we're going to go see some paintings today, so I hope you're as excited as I am. Right now we're crossing the Verrazano Bridge to go to New York. Everybody, we're here at the Met today. We came to see the Tudor exhibit here. So you can see there's a lot of people here today. It's a Saturday. It's really cool. We've seen a lot of stuff already. Very nice. We're very, very active today. Very exciting. So we're going to see some of the paintings. Stay tuned. Hi everybody. Okay, so let's take a look at some paintings here. So first we have Henry VIII, who had 6 wives. He executed some of them. He was always looking for a son. He started Protestantism in England, broke the English church away from the Roman Catholic Church. You can see his immense size. This is later in his life where he had to be carried actually from room to room because he was so sick. He was a fitter man in his younger years. Notice his large garments. He has his silk stockings on. A very influential figure in the Tudor family. Here we have Mary, who was Queen Mary, who was Henry's daughter. She was also known as Bloody Mary because of the amount of people that she supposedly killed trying to turn England back to Catholicism after her father's Protestantism. Next to her we have her sister, very famous Queen Elizabeth, who was the first Queen Elizabeth who brought England back fully into Protestantism and supported the Church of England. She had many famous people during her reign, such as Shakespeare, Christopher Marlowe, Ben Jonson, Sir Walter Raleigh, very, very famous figures during the Elizabethan age of England. Here we have Edward VI, who was the only son by Jane Seymour of Henry VIII. He was very sickly. He only ruled for about 6 years until he died, leaving the throne to Queen Mary. Edward VI was born to Jane Seymour, who Henry VIII considered to be his one true wife, and he was actually buried next to Jane Seymour at the end of his life, instead of the other 5 wives that he had. Here we have a small portrait of Henry VIII, nevertheless very, very famous portrait here. We get an idea of kind of his character from the way that he's looking at the painter. Henry VIII had, like we said before, 6 wives. He broke with the Roman Catholic Church over the issue of divorce because he wanted to divorce his first wife, Catherine of Aragon, and the Roman Catholic Pope would not grant the divorce because she was so well connected to the Holy Roman Emperor, her uncle. Here we have a portrait of Queen Elizabeth. Notice the very elaborate clothing. She has velvet, pearls, the frilled collar, which has a wire that goes through it. Here we have very fancy armor that was worn by a Tudor nobleman. Even in the 16th century, men still wore armor, despite the prevalence of cannon and the very primitive guns that were coming into fashion. Men still wore armor into battle, especially noblemen. Here we have another portrait of Queen Elizabeth. Notice a very wide skirt. She's standing on a map of southern England, especially London, which was her power base. The Tudors came to power after the War of the Roses. This War of the Roses was a civil war between different families, noble families in England. So the Tudors kind of brought England back together, and it was very important for them to demonstrate that power. Here we just have a walk through the gallery here. The Tudors were a very important dynasty, even though they only produced a small number of kings and queens. They were very influential, especially in England. Here we have Thomas More, who served as Chancellor under Henry VIII. He's very admired because he was executed for standing up for what he believed in because he refused to take an oath to Henry VIII as head of the Church of England. Thomas More still believed that England should have belonged to the Roman Catholic Church, and he stood by those beliefs. Here we have another portrait of Elizabeth, and another portrait of Elizabeth, kind of more casual portraits that we have here. Notice that her costume is not as elaborate as they normally would be when she was queen. So simpler portraits here. So that is the Tudor portraits. Thanks for watching, guys. Here's a picture of the gallery, and I will see you next time.